Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another Heroes Reborn review. And this review is episode 7, and it's called June 13th, Part 1. And this is basically a two-parter episode where we go back to the events of what happened on June 13th, and that whole Odessa summit and the bombings, that happened when we saw in the first episode of this miniseries. But I really enjoyed this episode. It's probably my second favorite episode of the whole miniseries so far, along with last week's episode where Hero returned. So, but anyways, basically what the episode is about is it starts off, from last week's episode, where it opens with Hero and Noah at the Odessa summit on June 13th, and for them to stop the bombs, and they only have like 3 hours to do it. Also, we see there's two types of Noah. There's the future Noah, and then there's the present Noah. So there's a scene where present Noah ends up being taken by Erica's men, because they want to get Claire. And we also see finally they return. We see Mohinder, Suresh, and Angela Petrelli, in which Angela tells Mohinder that she had this vision of the disaster of the June 13th attack, and that the Evos can stop it. And she ended up telling Erica with the hope of saving all the Evos, but Erica intended to only save the people that she chooses. And one thing about this episode that I want to mention is it felt like watching an original episode, an episode of the original series. Like if the original series ended up going onwards. That's what it kind of felt like, and it's also, I forgot to mention, this episode is kind of like a prequel to leading up to the first episode of the series. And then back to the and then we find out the backstory on how Hero got trapped in that video game, because there was this guy named Hajaro Atomo. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but the actor, I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I remember seeing him in episodes of iZombie and among other stuff, but he comes to Hero's office and ends up trapping Hero in that video game and ends up taking his sword. And then, we find out later on in the episode that the Japanese news got mistaken because they think that Hero died in the Odessa tragedy, but he really didn't. He was trapped in the game. Good. And then we see Erica has kept Phoebe in this house, and they are monitoring her, and Phoebe using her powers. And later on we see Phoebe using her powers, and she releases a darkness cloud which causes a solar eclipse, and it drains all of the Evo's powers. And that's when the bombs start to go off and the whole attack happens. Back to we also see Luke and Joanne with their son, and we see his son's powers being he's being allergic to the sunlight. And all three of them go to the summit, and after the bombs go off, we see that before the bombs go off, we see their son, whose name is Dennis, running off to catch a balloon, because there was this guy that Dennis really liked. There was this guy who had was doing all magic tricks, and gave him the balloon, and he let the guy who does the magic tricks do like a trick with the balloon, but couldn't do it because of Phoebe's powers. We also find out that we see Angela take future Noah to Claire in the hospital, and we find out that Claire died while giving birth. we find out that she had 2 kids. One of them was named Nathan, who Angela named after her son in the original series, which Nathan is actually Tommy, and also the girl that Claire had is no one named Melina, which is the girl you see, who's who uses her powers, who was off with Farah. And so, yeah, so those are the secrets that we shockingly did not know, which that was kind of cool, though, because we saw in the previous episode Melina was trying to find, Tommy when in that scene where she was sitting down with Zachary Levi's character Luke. But yeah, so those are spoilers, though. But all my reviews contain spoilers. All my Heroes Reborn reviews contain spoilers. So, but you all probably have seen the episode already. And so later on, Hero ends up taking them back to 1999 for them to be safe and grow up really good. There's this one scene where Hero has this good fight with Harris. Takes him out, and then he fights off the clone Harrises because Harris inject Mohinder with something, put a strip in his nose. But yeah, so also it is now confirmed that by Noah that Claire is dead, and he says goodbye to her. And one really cool scene is where at the end of the episode, Noah sees his future self in the hospital, and he follows him because he's about to kill Erica. And so that at the end of that, it says to be continued, which next week it will reveal what will happen. So yeah, so it's only part one of this episode. So next week will be part 2. But like I said, this episode, really enjoyed it. Felt like watching an episode of the original series, in my opinion, because we didn't see Tommy, we didn't see Melina, or any of the other characters. We didn't see Carlos. We didn't see Tommy. So, but yeah, so it's basically like all the original series characters mixed in with the new characters like Erica and Harris, and also the Penny Man also here too. So. But yeah, so like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. Probably my second favorite episode of this whole mini-series. So, yeah, so I can't wait for next week's episode. Matt Parkman is returning in next week's episode, which I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, him return. So, but, yeah, so anyways, that's it for my review of Heroes Reborn, Episode 7, called June 13, Part 1. Thank you all for watching. And until next video, I'll see you all later.